How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are well. As our suggestions and the thumbnail and the title will tell you, today is all about a clean patch with no cab. No! The horror! It's a little bit of a weird subject, this, because some people will describe the rotary speaker as a cab and some people will describe it as an actual effect. And to be honest, that is down to where you put it in the patch. You know, it's one of these things that doesn't really get used a lot. It doesn't really come up in the forums. You don't really see a lot of people demoing the rotary patch itself or the rotary speaker itself. And like you say, if you put it before the amp and you kind of play around it, it becomes that nice, almost phasery, vibey effect with a rotary edge. Is that a thing? That's a thing now. That's a thing. I'm taking that. If you put it after the amp, then you get that full rotary sound. So it's the 145 rotary. That's the one that I'm using today. It's not, you know, there's no cab in there. There's no right and wrong way of doing these things. You know, it's all subject to your own ears. We're all humans. We do whatever the fuck we want. It's as simple as that. So nobody should be looking at this patch realistically and saying to you, that's fucking wrong, man, you need to put this there and shove this up your ass, you know, do all that shit. At the beginning, we'll take a quick look, is a volume pedal. I don't really use volume pedals a lot. I'm a big guy for I'm just a big guy for using the volume on the guitar. I don't really do a lot of swells and stuff like that. It would probably be pretty cool if I put an auto swell in there as well, which we might do as we'll do this in a sec. The amp that we're using is the High Watt 100. That's kind of one of my favorites for clean. Anything clean, I always go to this amp, just drop the drive down to 2, and that gets you realistically where you need to be. It doesn't overly distort even with the drive at 2.3. After that is the Kinky Boost. The Kinky Boost is there with no drive on. The boost is on and the bright is on, which acts as a little bit of a life giver to the 145 rotary. Now, I have done this in the past where I'll split the amp and the cab and I'll put that Kinky Boost in between just to give the whole patch, regardless of what it is, if it's a distorted patch or a clean patch. I've done this before. It doesn't always get used, and I've been doing that a very, very, very long time. Take from that what you will. And then we've got our 145 rotary. A couple of little adjustments I've done there, just pulled the drive down a little bit. The mix is at 100%, and I've pulled the speed, the fast and the slow speed, just back a little bit, just so it's not overly washy. The calligraphic EQ is there, obviously depending on what guitar you're going to be using, because if I pick up the Les Paul and play this patch with the Les Paul, the dynamic of the whole thing completely changes. So after that then is a LA Studio Comp. Doesn't have to be there, it just helps give a bit of life to the effects on our second path. Dual delay, standard settings for me, really, for a clean. And then, oh look, he's got the glitz again. Glitz, and then retro reel and the tile. The tile probably is quite toppy. There's a lot, you know, it gives it a little bit more of a glacier top end, I think. So let's hear it, and then we'll have a little play around with telling you what the Kinky Boost does. Fucking hell, you can tell it's 2022. So obviously, like you say, it's quite glassy, quite toppy. If I turn this Kinky Boost off, back on, I could turn the bright off. I would probably leave the bright off for this Strat, even though it's, you know, the humbuckers. Or the mini humbuckers, it's still quite glass, it's still quite stratty. If I put the Les Paul in, I would probably turn that back on. Right after that, like you say, is the 145 rotary, standard kind of settings for the calligraphic. Again, where the compressor's concerned, I'll show you what that's like on and off. So it's not too dramatic with the compressor, to be fair. Dual delay, you know what that sounds like, and you know what the glitch sounds like. Let's turn the retro reel on and off, and we'll see what's going on there. That is a dramatic change, to be fair. That is... There's a noticeable difference. And then the offender at the end is the tile. There is a huge change with that, I think. You can kind of hear it go, oh, have some top end. So where the rotary is concerned, it's not overly rotary, if you know what I mean. It's not like that overbearing where you're just hearing that whoosh, whoosh kind of sound. Whoosh, whoosh kind of sound. So my brain, honestly, I've got no fucking idea what's going on in that brain sometimes. Because that's what you need when the rotary's on, is more whammy bar. It's force of habit. So that's a patch. That's it. It's just another quick one. It's just something that I was working on. I want you to have it, and I want you to have it for free. All this is subject to change. You can do whatever you want with this patch. You know, you want to kind of move stuff, take stuff out, then do it. If you do that and you've got a YouTube channel, come and tell me how it works for you. You know, tell me that you're using it, and I want to hear it. I want to hear it out in the wild. So final run through, again, we could probably change that to an auto swell if we wanted. I think it'd sound pretty good. I did say I was going to do that today, but I'm not, because I like to stay under 8 minutes, because otherwise it just fucking drags on. People get bored, especially when they're watching this on the toilet. That's a thing, you know, people kind of watch videos on the toilet, don't they? So 145 rotary. Again, you've got options to kind of change that if you wanted. If you want to do a different rotary speaker, you could do that. Calligraphic, LA Studio comp, that's kind of the standard. All the other comps, I think, for me, weren't quite fitting with what was going on. Let's just change that to a stereo comp, because for whatever reason it was on mono. Good job we checked that, really, isn't it? See, this is why I leave that in. Some other YouTubers would have took that shit out. They'd have edited it out and gone, yeah, hey, I'm completely perfect. Not me. So now we have a stereo LA Studio comp where it should be, and not a mono one. Just letting you know it's all real. Dual delay, a glitch verb, retro reel, and then the tile. That's your patch. We'll be back in a couple of days with a little bit more for free for you, because I'm just an all-round nice guy. So don't forget, stick your fingers in the notification bell and slap that subscribe on the ass as hard as you like. And I'll see you in a couple of days for the next one. Woo.